Alright guys, welcome to your third Java tutorial, and in this one we're going to go over how to do command line input. So what does that mean? Basically means when it comes down here it will ask us a question and we'll be able to type an answer back, and it will change the output of the program. So first thing to do here is to import our scanner. So in Java, when we want to read from the command line, we have to use something called a scanner. So import java.util.scanner is what we have to write. And in Java you can do all sorts of imports to import different tools and features to use. For now we're just going to be using scanner though, so we don't need to add anything else. And now the first thing we need to do is we need to actually set up the scanner. Remember, this is all that we're concerned about is the code that's in here. Everything else is irrelevant for now. I will explain that all later. But the first thing we need to do is say scanner. Now this is referring back to this scanner. It's a bit like a type, like we've got int string, because we're going to create a variable here. A variable that's actually an object, but I'll explain what that means later on as well. Let's give our scanner variable a name. Let's call it scanner. Now this one I'm going to use a lowercase s to distinguish between the type scanner and our variable scanner. And now we need to set this equal to something. And the way that it works in Java is when you want to create something but you don't know what you want it to be equal to, and if that thing that you're creating is an object, which scanner is, you can use this new keyword here, and then it's going to be a new scanner. So new scanner, and then we have to do two brackets. And so what this is saying, oh yeah, and then inside these brackets we need to write system.in. What this is saying now is we have our variable scanner of type scanner. We're setting this equal to a new scanner using system.in as our input. And that might seem a bit familiar to you because over here we've got system.out. So it's really referring to the same thing, just this is for the input, that's for the output. Okay, so now what do we want to do? Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this too. Let's ask ourselves a question. Let's say, what is the first number? So we're going to create a calculator program and we're going to want two numbers. So we're going to ask ourselves, what's the first number you want to calculate? Then we create an integer, because we're going to be typing a number into the command line. That's going to be turned into an int. And let's call it first num for number equals, and now we're going to refer back to this scanner variable up here, scanner dot next int. All this is saying is, okay, it's talking to the scanner and asking it, alright, whatever the next int is that we type into this command line and then hit enter, it's going to store inside this variable first num, which is of type int. We're going to do the same thing for our second num, so we can just copy that over. What is the second number? Then we can say int second num equals scanner.nextInt again. Should do the same thing, except now we've got first num and second num. Now we're going to want to return, we're going to want to print out the outcome of our calculation. System.out.println or printline, and we want to do first num plus second num. Now every time we use a scanner we are going to have to close it afterwards. That's just a weird quirk of how scanners work. some IDEs will actually complain if you don't do it, but NetBeans doesn't seem to mind so much. Alright, what's it saying over here? Nothing important. Alright. What is the first number? Let's say 8. What's the second number? 10. Then we have our output 18. Now let's make this a little bit nicer. So do you notice how every time it asks us a question, it puts us on the next line? Now that's because of this println here, print line. It says print on, and then afterwards make it a new line. So if we want to avoid that, we just get rid of that and turn it into system.out.print. So it will always be on the same line. And then let's add a space for people to put their number in. And let's put some text as well, because just this 18, you don't really know what it could be. So let's say your number is, and then first num plus second num. Alright, and let's see how that looks. What is the first number? Let's say 60. What is the second number? Let's say 9. Your number is 609. Now, what happened here? Ooh, interesting. That's because we had a string here, and then we had an int and an int. And instead of adding these two ints together, what it did first is it added the string to the int, and then added the int to this string. So essentially it treated them all like they were strings. So what we really want to be doing here is saying int final num equals first num plus second num, so that our calculation is separated from our printing. Final num 420. Your number is 420. Alright, that worked out quite nicely. What if we wanted to, instead of add, multiply? Well, you see, this is going to work the same. We just got to do this instead. We can multiply 5 times 3, 15. Works all nicely. You can divide as well, subtract. Doesn't matter. You can do any of those operations, and you can adjust your order of operations as well using bracket notation, just like you can in maths. So it's all very simple. Alright, I think I'm gonna end the video here. In the next video, we're gonna start to look at logic, if statements, and comparators. So looking forward to that. That's going to be even more exciting. See you next time.